Hey guys, I'm here with Josh Chilton and John McLaren, our two top agents, telling us the 7 steps to selling your home faster and for top dollar. All right, so we're going to get started right away.
Thanks for having us, Chantel.
Yeah. All right, so go ahead and let's start with the very first thing that you guys suggest that we do to sell our home faster and for top dollar.
So the first thing you got to do is fix your house up to get it ready.
That's right. So first off, you have to determine what repairs to do, what repairs not to do, because there are some omissions that you don't want to do.
Yeah, because you want to get a good return on investment, right? Like we don't want to be...
Exactly.
Some repairs are not going to be a good use of your money.
Perfect. So
Right.
tell us what do you suggest that are some things that are really good to do?
Right? So you cannot go wrong with painting. If it's been about 5 years since
Well,
you
I
put
think you
paint...
can go wrong with painting, right? 'Cause
Well, that is
can-
true. That is true. That is very, very true.
You can do it wrong.
Stay away from primary colors. Rule number
Or
one.
if you
okay?
hired me to paint, I'm like, do you know that I've actually never in my life painted
You
anything
can mess
but-
up the
but
actual
one
job.
stroke.
You,
Yeah,
you know,
could.
where you see them paint on the hinges of the doors, or they paint all over the doorknobs.
That's
Or
terrible.
the outlets. You know,
It's
they paint on
terrible.
the outlets. That
It's
bothers
terrible.
me. That
It's
bothers me a
It's
lot.
the number one thing that a seller can do to invoke cleanliness. Okay, a buyer wants to feel clean and warm in the home. So painting.
point, you have to do it well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It needs to be pristine. It needs
In
to
a
be well.
workmanlike manner. I remember seeing on one person's, on our feedback forms
Right.
that we have, and the thing said was the work looked like a 12-year-old boy
Yes.
did. That was exactly
It's not the
what
kind
it
of feedback you
It's
want.
better not to do it at all. And that is something that's crazy, because if there's poor workmanship, okay, what that does to a buyer's psyche is it freaks them out. Because
And they
they're
think
like,
everything is done that way.
That's
Everything's
exactly
wrong.
right.
What else did
Everything.
they cut corners?
What's
Yes.
hiding? What's
What
in
else
the
did a
attic? What's in the
12-year-old
crawl?
fix?
Yes, running extension cords in the attic
Yes.
to power your bathroom and all kinds of crazy
Exactly.
stuff.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
with that being said, give us something else.
I
Paint
think
is
like
easy.
buzzwords, stainless steel appliances, granite. If it's in the budget, there's a good ROI on
Yes.
some of those things.
Yes, and also too, another big thing is if a homeowner can do it themselves in a workmanlike manner, like you're saying, or if they're going to have to hire a contractor. Hiring a contractor more often than not will fall into the omission category, or they'll just have to understand that they won't necessarily get dollar for dollar back out what they put in.
I guess what I was trying to say is I think the best use of renovation dollars are spent in the kitchen and the bathrooms.
Correct. No, that's absolutely correct. I was just also too, another area is what to do, a seller to do themselves, and then what
Yes.
to do, what definitely not
And
to do.
we know we got those sellers that are handy and the
Yes.
ones that aren't.
Exactly. Exactly
So you
correct.
got to know your capabilities.
Yes.
And pick your choices wisely, spend your money wisely, and know what you can and can't do. The
Yes.
last thing you want to do is replace all your floors. And you didn't cut under the door jams. It just looks bad, and you end up
Exactly.
doing it twice.
Exactly.
We
And
don't
then
want you to do
lastly, I
that.
think to finish up this portion would be another example to do is a roof. If your roof is on the end of its life, it's the very first thing a buyer sees when they pull up. It's the very first thing as an agent I point out to a buyer. The
For
roof,
sure.
The roof needs to be replaced. There's $6 grand, $9
And that's
grand.
scary to them.
Exactly.
And
That's
a
scary.
good
Exactly.
buyer's agent is going to do like a mini home inspection there, and that's
Exactly.
going to be one of the things they notice.
That's
for
exactly
sure.
So let me give you a story, though. I do want to kind of push back on that just a little bit.
Push back, Chantel. Do it.
Because in the neighborhood I lived in before I live in the neighborhood I'm in now, there were 2 houses that were side by side, and they were kind of like more cookie cutter homes.
Right.
I mean, exact same style,
Track houses.
track
Yeah.
house. They just were very similar. There were 5 models, and
Yep.
these 2 happened to be the same exact
Right.
model next door. Well, one of the houses did everything. It was just such a great example. One house had like a train. The guy was like
Had a
doing
train?
Yeah.
train. You know what?
A
The
train HVAC unit.
HVAC
Yes.
unit. Yes.
the
Okay.
best
Oh,
thing
no,
to do.
now I'm
Yes.
following. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they had a brand new roof. The outside had brand new vinyl. I mean, the outside
It was
looked
pristine.
immaculate.
Right.
The other one, but the inside was awful. They had like this red shag carpet. The carpet was
Right.
awful. It kind of smelled
So
bad
it
a
got
little
you
bit.
in the door, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it looked amazing on the outside. But the other person did new paint. They did new floors. They had stainless appliances,
Right.
and the inside looked immaculate. But if you looked at dollar for dollar what they spent, guess which
And
house
what the
sold
ROI
for-
was on the dollar
guess
spent.
which house? And I looked
Sure.
Of course it was my neighborhood, so I was looking at this like with
Right.
a fine tooth comb.
Right.
The house where the inside
exactly.
looked better, but if I calculated all the amount, the other guy who fixed all the outside,
Right.
guess what? He spent more money.
Exterior work is the most amount.
But guess who got more money?
The
No,
interior.
the buyers care about the inside the most. When I go out and show buyers, I'm the one noticing the roof. And
Right.
the buyers are looking inside the home, what's shiny, what's new. So to your point, you're going to spend your money better in the home.
All right, so I would say, would you agree that the interior is where you should try to focus on spending your money? If you only have a set budget and you go, I only have this much money, the interior
Yes.
is where it's going to raise.
I agree.
Carpet
There
and
is
a bare
some-
And the
minimum.
two rooms that I would say would be the kitchen and the master. Like when I see
The
your
master suite,
buyers,
the bathroom and the master suite
Yeah, the
and-
bathroom, because they're like, where am I going to spend the most amount of time?
Yes, kitchens and bathrooms are excellent to renovate. Now, if you're working on a very minimal budget, I would say bare minimum paint and carpet.
But the master suite, right? Who's cutting the check for the house?
Right.
The person who lives in that room. You might
Exactly.
want to appeal to them.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Exactly. We have some different tiers, right? So some people only have a little bit of money, a lot of money. What else would you say about that? Of the kind of the three different tiers.
Sure. So entry level would be paint and flooring. Okay.
And really, right now, you can get some good flooring. I mean, the floors we have here in this building, we get every person who walks in here
It's true.
says
It looks
"These floors
fantastic.
look
And we
good."
just replaced carpet with
Right.
this floor,
Yes.
and it's
Right.
like night and day.
Right,
Yeah,
and what
and-
it is it's a LVT, which is a luxury vinyl tile. There's actually more homeowners that are converting to LVT over tile. It's more durable. It's what they're
I
putting in
can't
new
stand tile.
construction.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
personally, because of the grout. Cleaning
Exactly.
that grout,
Right.
it's like
Or
it's
the-
so
or the
You
grout
need to
expensive.
choose a dark grout.
Or the grout.
I just
doing
redid
stain.
my master bathroom, and I did white marble with
Mm-hmm.
white grout, and months later I'm regretting
It's
it.
black
Yes.
out now,
Cleaning
right?
cleaning it is a
It's-
nightmare.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
only way that I say to get tile is either where you can put it so close where you can't see
Right.
the grout, or you do the LVT, which is that luxury vinyl tile
Exactly.
that we're talking about. And guess how much? Well, you guys already know. This
Tell the
vinyl-
audience.
Yes,
Tell the audience.
88 cents. What we're looking at, and we will show a clip of it.
Yeah.
Is the vinyl tile here? It was 88 cents, and people rave about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
88
Because see,
cents.
another thing too is it's what all the builders are putting in new construction. And normally there was a lot of different thresholds of, okay, kitchen would be one type of flooring, foyer would be one, living room would be one, and now they're just putting in like the LVT across the whole first
Yes,
floor.
actually, and that, in my opinion, that's a great point. Thanks for
Yes.
putting that in, because another great tip is what buyers are wanting today. They want whatever you have in the first floor, put it all
Continuous.
continuous on the
Continuous,
first
yeah.
floor.
It's clean
Whatever
for
you have in the
kids,
second floor,
for
put it
dogs.
all the way through.
And the products are getting so good where sometimes I have to, get down on the floor and
Exactly.
scratch it
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit. What type of floor is this? Is
Yes.
it wood? Is
Is
it
it
vinyl?
vinyl?
Is
Yes.
it laminate?
Exactly.
Because
yes.
they're getting so good.
Great
that
point,
you
guys.
can't
I
tell.
mean, can you guys see why these guys are the top agents number one? I mean, they are just amazing. So we did go through the first tier. Now
Right.
let's talk about the second and third tiers.
Second tier, I think, is what we had said before, is kitchen and bathrooms. I think that's your next tier of repairs. Paint and flooring is your cheapest and easiest. Kitchen and bathrooms get a little more involved, but that is the next best place to spend your money. So I would consider
Exactly.
that tier two.
And again, like
Exactly.
some of these, with the tubs, you don't have to replace. I've just done 2 flips
Like
myself.
refinishing them?
I just refinished
Yeah,
them, and they
recoat
were
'em.
cheap. I just reglazed it, and it really wasn't.
It
that
depends
much
on the
money.
material the tub is made out of, but that is an option depending.
So talk about that a little bit, John.
Well, you got a couple different options for that, and that
Right,
would
like
depend.
first would be like the old cast irons. Those
Yeah,
are the
cast
easiest.
iron you can do.
Those are the easiest to reglaze. Second, you have like an acrylic. Those you have to be careful of, like
Yes.
an acrylic / fiberglass, because once they're chipped, that's it. You're not going to reglaze it. It could actually cause leaks. That actually does need to be replaced.
Okay.
And then you have like the actual like the jetted tubs. Those are actually pretty good to reglaze.
And there's a couple versions of plastic.
Yeah.
They got
Plastic
fancier
products.
names for them.
Yeah.
But you got a couple tiers of plastic.
Right.
And those you
Polycarbonates
can't
of
refinish.
such.
You can't refinish plastic. But
Right.
but
Good. Okay, so that's tier 2. What's tier 3?
I think tier 3 would be systems. like your HVAC, your roof, things like that.
Windows, the things that you spend a ton of money on and you don't enjoy. Like I recently spent $10,000 replacing my roof. And when I drive into the driveway, I don't say, oh man, I love that roof.
Exactly.
You know, it was just $10,000 that I had to spend, but that I don't enjoy it at all.
This brings up a really sore subject for me. And, I do want to talk about this. I definitely want to, and I'm not going to tell you the Homeowners Association, but I want to warn everyone right now.
This is a good point. I think we should talk about this.
Yeah. Very big point. And what happened to me was I had a house that I was going to buy I wasn't buying it as a flip. Actually, I was just buying it as a rental.
Right.
And it was in a homeowners association. And I had a sheet that they said, okay, for all these different things, for the sliding glass door, you have to get approval for the windows, blah, blah,
roof
blah.
color.
Right. Well, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to go wrong with a black roof. Like, they're not going to... A black roof.
They hit you on a black roof?
I put a black roof on.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it depends,
you know.
I mean, you got to watch for that, for sure.
And put it back on with a tan roof,
Oh,
because even though all the other ones had black roofs on it, but they did not approve ours.
Yeah.
And so
that's
now
one of those
lost.
You didn't ask us ahead of time.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to punish you.
Yes,
We're going to make an example.
And so let's
of
just
you.
talk about that. That is a big decision. Is before you start going and doing all these things,
absolutely,
we need to contact the Property Owners Association if you have one before we start.
And
doing
also
these
too,
repairs.
we have a very good idea on what buyers want and what buyers don't want, i.e.
Yes.
colors, finishes, things like that, and roof is no different. Like a big thing in roofs now is not just a monocolor roof, but is actually a tricolor roof of the same color family.
And then you've got the, is it architectural or is it 3 tab?
tab?
You're going to have a roofer come.
Exactly.
If you don't know the difference, a roofer might sell you on, hey, it's a little bit cheaper to do this other kind, and you choose a 3 tab.
So can you talk about the
minimally
differences
cheaper.
between those roofs for just a
A
second?
3 tab is basically that the shingles are side by side, and in architectural they're overlapping.
Exactly.
I think that's the simplest way to explain
and
it.
And the difference between 3 tab and architectural, there's no cost difference in installation. It's on the material.
Right.
And we're talking minimal. We're talking maybe less than $1,000.
And the reason why it costs more for architectural is because you have to use more shingles. They overlap. It's better.
Right, exactly. And then you have 30-year, 50-year, things like that.
But to your point, it's like a 10% cost difference.
Right.
For the difference between 15-year life expectancy and 30-year life expectancy. I mean, it's money well spent.
It's a no-brainer, and these are the things that we're talking about, because I want to back up just a touch, because some viewers or listeners may be thinking, well, why would you start on the interior first and forego the finishes, or the systems last? And that's because we know what the buyers want.
Yes.
Most buyers, just like you said, Chantel,
they're short-term thinkers.
That's exactly correct.
Yes.
As long as it's pretty inside, they don't necessarily care
They've been
about
watching
the windows.
HGTV. HGTV doesn't roll around the outside talking about what's the age of the air conditioning system.
And I know that there's some people out there thinking, oh my gosh, why are they foregoing windows and roofs and water heaters? Because that's what I want as a buyer. Well, that's not most buyers.
Right.
And
you
for ourselves,
might be in that camp, but that's not everybody.
I will say this. For the guys, okay, since we have a guy's opinion and a girl's opinion here. So for me, obviously as a woman, the first thing I'm going to look at is the interior. Would you agree that a lot of the guys, the first thing they're going to look at and be concerned with is the roof, the HVAC?
You know what I find most guys are looking for first?
What?
Is the garage. They want to go right to the garage.
That's true, yes.
Do we have a detached garage, an attached garage?
They are.
So they are looking at interior space, but in a different way.
But John, correct me if I'm wrong. We've had both scenarios as far as listings for sale. We have had homes that have all the major systems done. The inside is at least 30 years old. And then we've had the complete opposite. All the interiors completely renovated.
And every variation in between.
But
and again,
all of the systems, the ones that had the interior done and have the older major systems, those are the ones that sell quicker. And the ones that have all the major systems.
And this
I have
is
this one
thousands.
listing,
Listen, guys.
50,000.
This is our experience. We're selling thousands of homes per year. We're watching it happen over and over. So I know people go, no, that's not true. And I go, okay, well, we have living proof that we're selling thousands and thousands.
Yes.
And
I'd
it's
like to give an
true.
example about that.
Okay.
So I had this listing. It was a very nice home in the Cox High School district. Okay. It had $50,000 of system upgrades. New roof, windows, all new plumbing, new HVAC, new ductwork. The list goes on. 50
Right.
grand, but the inside was completely original. I had baby blue 4x4 ceramic tiles in the bathroom.
Yes.
Okay, baby blue.
Yes.
And it was an extremely tough sell because
Yes.
even though there was a lot to sell on the systems and the money that you don't want to spend is on the systems and all this, it was a very tough sell. It
And
took a very
I
long
think
time to
that the
sell.
reason
You need to
for
appeal
that-
to the women. Is
Yes,
the bottom
that's
line.
what I'm
right.
saying.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, like my husband always says, when Chantel is happy, then everybody's happy, and it's when Mama's happy, everyone's happy, and it really is true. At the end of the day, if your wife said, "No, I hate this house," are you going to go ahead and say, "Yeah, but I love the roof and I love
Right.
the vinyl and I love this"? We're
Negative.
buying it.
Negative,
How is that
exactly.
going to work out for you? It's not.
It's not.
Exactly.
It
So
boil
the
it down to it won't.
Exactly. So the punchline is establishing what is worth your ROI to renovate and fix now, and what is worth for going.
And I don't know that we've said this explicitly yet, but it's really critical to involve us in this part of the process.
Yeah, it is.
Because if we show up too late after you've decided to spend
Yes.
money here and spend money there, you might have done it wrong. And
Yes,
if we
that's
show
why
up
even
after,
if you're
what are we
looking-
going to say?
Listen, gang. If you're looking at selling your house 6 months, a year down the road, like don't feel like, oh, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to waste your
I
time.
hate that.
Listen,
Nothing is a waste of our time.
No,
Right.
you're not wasting our time. We want to come out there.
We're in the
wanna
relationship
see it.
business.
Yes.
Exactly.
You can't waste our time
Yes.
to start a
If
relationship.
you said
Exactly.
I want to sell my house in 2 years, hey, no problem. I'll be
Exactly.
selling 3
And
years.
John, that's not
We're
a line.
out there.
It's like I truly.
That's
want
not a
to
line.
build- I really.
It
want
sounds
to
like a
build
line,
One
but
of the
it's not a
guys
line.
that I go to church with literally called me and he's like, "Chantel, I need your help." And you know what I did? He's like, "I don't want you to come out here because I don't want to waste your time." He said, "Can I FaceTime you?" And I said, "You know what? You can. I'm happy to go out there, but you can FaceTime me, and that will work too."
Yeah.
So, with new technology,
Yes.
we're happy to even do that.
And we actually have virtual appointments now, like
Yeah.
video conference appointments
Absolutely.
for people that are out of
So-
state and things like
There's
that.
a lot of ways
Yeah.
to do it these days.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to number 2.
Okay.
What is it?
Staging.
Staging your home.
Okay.
Staging your
So
home.
tell us
and
about
that,
it.
that can mean a lot of different things. That can mean maximizing what you have in your home to you have an empty house and you want a professional to bring in a whole house full of beautiful furniture and
Right.
arrange it just how they want it. So
Right.
you got these different approaches.
So let's just talk about just kind of our standard regular home. They've lived there for 20 years.
And they currently live there,
And they
right? We're
currently live there,
maximizing
yeah.
their belongings.
Yes.
They're not. They live there with 2.5 kids and their
Yeah,
dog.
let's
they,
give that example.
Right.
They're not moving out and moving in a bunch of posh furniture,
Exactly.
right? So, so we need to come out and tell you, hey, this room's a little cluttered. This room could use a painting.
Mm-hmm.
This one is, if you've got, you see on HGTV that you need to take away all family photos.
Right.
That's not necessarily
I
true,
agree.
but if it's floor to ceiling,
Right.
in the
If
hallway,
it's excessive.
Yeah.
I
then it's gotta
actually
go.
like good family photos because it shows that a family lives here and people
Well,
can connect
well,
with them.
let's talk about why they say
That's a big misconception on that one,
I
that
agree.
they
And
have
I
to be
think-
gone.
Yeah, I think that the reason why they say that is because, for example, let's say a single guy is planning on buying the house, and every time he looks around, it's another family photo. What is he going to think? Oh, only family lives. This is subconsciously what's going on in his mind is, oh, only families
I think
live
everything in
here. And
moderation.
that's why they suggest that, because they think, maybe it's an African American household and the person looking at it is white. And then all of a sudden in their mind, they're thinking, oh, only African Americans live here. So I do agree that, limiting them is a good idea. Taking them down altogether. I mean, I can understand what they're saying.
You could do it.
Yeah,
I mean, you
it's-
can't. I don't think you can go wrong either way. And I tell people all the time,
Limit
you
it.
have one
Limit
family
it.
photo on the wall. That will not be the difference.
Exactly.
That will not be the difference. I promise you that.
Correct. Yes. And so basically, to kind of expand off what you said, John, about utilizing what someone has available, is less is more. Guys, this is nothing personal. This is about what sells. It's important to be neutral in
Yes.
nature and not take things personally. Just like with renovations, don't necessarily choose a hard right or a hard left style.
Well,
okay?
let's talk about the kitchen. So in the kitchen, let's talk about taking everything off the counters. So
Yeah,
let's talk
the
about-
way
that's
people
such a-
live is, you got your coffee grinder and your coffee maker and your espresso
And
maker
your
and your
sponges
toaster
and
and your
Dawn and
imagine you don't live there. This is the new person's home. You know, you are going to be inconvenienced a little bit.
Would you? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Mark this spot.
Yeah, mark spot. Yes, and exactly. So the biggest thing that a seller can do, I'm telling you, the biggest thing a seller can do is invoke an area or a home of cleanliness, okay?
Right.
The cleanest possible, okay? So absolutely right. I tell my sellers, if you are not uncomfortable, you're not doing something right.
That's like a classic line.
You have
line.
to keep everything clean at all times, make the bed, put the sponges away, put the toothbrushes underneath the vanity, the whole nine. All that is part of staging on a daily basis.
You're going to get to like day 14 and you haven't had a showing in 2 days and you wake up in the morning and the sink is full and you're like,
And
the novelty is wearing off,
the day
and
that's
the day
call.
that your buyer comes. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Murphy's Law is in full effect, and you need to take care of it every day, like it's gonna be the day.
Exactly. And so, for an example about the kitchen, right? In pictures, I always say the fridge needs to be totally clean of all magnets.
Great idea.
Everything.
Yeah.
Right? If
And
you
like
have a
the
nice,
toasters, most people have their toaster, their coffee maker,
Their panini maker.
Yes.
You got-
I mean, I've seen houses where literally you couldn't even see the countertops.
Right.
It was the panini maker, the coffee
Exactly.
maker, the additional toaster oven, then a regular toaster.
Nobody's
pan
judging
opener.
you. Nobody's judging you on that's the way your family likes to live.
because they live the same exact way.
But you got to get up. But I'm just saying, it's no longer about that. It's no
Exactly.
longer about how your family likes to live.
Here's the question you ask yourself. Would a model home of brand new
Right.
construction
That's a great analogy,
have
yes.
all this stuff out? When they stage
I just
the
built a home. Nobody lives there. I'm trying to sell it. Am I going to put
They don't have a green
40
bottle of Palm Olive
right?
with a green crest on the
Because
top.
it's
of it.
not
Right,
aesthetically
exactly.
pleasing.
Exactly.
Because
That's
it's
exactly
not pleasing
correct.
to the eye.
Okay, and then let's talk about a vacant home.
Sure.
That where you feel like, hey, this is a good return on investment for us too, because we've had tons of houses that we have actually put in furniture,
Yes.
and boom, they are
Right.
gone, and it's not even that much money.
It's really
Let's
not.
talk
So
about that.
staging a normal size home anywhere from 15 to let's say 2,000 square feet, a few homes for the first 30 days is around $1,100 to $1,300.
Yeah.
And that's initial consult, the furniture, and first month's rent as far as the staging equipment, meaning furniture, things like that go. Now, one thing that I do say is very good for staging vacant homes like that is if the layout is a little odd, okay?
For sure that.
Or if you have like multiple rooms that can be used as the same thing. So let's say you have a den and a family room that are very, very similar.
Yep.
An area of confusion and tension between couples and families is what to use this room for sometimes. And so I'm always trying to say, okay, well, this is a room for it can be an office. This is the actual family room.
Those
so
are the
on.
conversations that happen in
And
your
those
home
are
when
the
you're
best
not there.
rooms.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What are we going to do with this room? And do I have a clear sight picture to the children? You know, is this going to
Exactly.
be the playroom? And that's.
All right, well, we've got to really move on because we are running out
I
of
know,
time.
we're talkative. We're
yes,
salespeople.
Yeah, we are. But it's such great information. You guys are really giving them so much meat. I don't know if that sounded good, but okay.
We'll give them the
We'll keep it. Yeah, we
need more
like
cafe.
to live on the edge.
I need
a
some
little,
more cafe.
yes. All right, so number 3, what is it?
Price.
Yeah, decide on the list price.
Exactly.
So let's give them some
Kind of an
real
important part of the
practical
process.
tools. Like, would you ever price your house at $201,000?
Never.
Yes or no? Why?
Absolutely not. So 201,000. And I think a better example though is 199,000, right?
Right.
Because
Yes.
McDonald's doesn't sell hamburgers for $1. They're always 99 cents. And so
Right.
American marketing for retail products is always that 99 cents over $1. In real estate, the problem with that is that people are searching for the final product.
Exactly.
Right? So buyers are going to look for 150 to 200 or 200 to 250.
Right.
The 150 to 200 has now seen your property.
Well, I will
the
tell
200
you,
to 250 missed it.
This happened on my second or third deal in real estate, okay? So we were in a sales meeting, and someone said they were talking about a price, and I just ratified a townhouse in Kempsville Lake the day before. And this guy was talking in our office, because everyone was like, try to sell our own listings, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so he says, yes, I have this beautiful townhouse in Kempsville Lake for $199 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I have buyers that I'm searching for right now that I just ratified last night. I'm searching between $200 and $250.
You put their parameter into the computer, so you're thinking,
yes, I missed
my
that
clients
one.
didn't
Yes,
see this.
My clients did not see it, and it was too late. We had already ratified the night before. And that's when it clicked. Gang, you shouldn't be doing that, because now anyone who's searching, if they did 200, if I was searching 150 to 200, I would have seen it, or 200 to 250, I would have seen it.
The 199 is so ingrained in our logic as Americans that in real estate, though, it doesn't apply.
Exactly.
Does not
And
work.
here's the punchline. Buyers do not get pre-qualified for $199. Okay?
Exactly.
They get pre-qualified for $200.
Yes.
Okay? Price is the #1 search criteria for a buyer and the buyer's agent. Even drop-down menus on consumer-based real estate search engines like Zillow and Realtor.com have predetermined search criteria of like 200, 2.25, things like that. Exactly.
So you get into the luxury market.
Exactly. So pricing right below or right above a major milestone is actually a great inhibitor of people even being able to see your property.
To go back to your 201, I use the example of 199 because I think that makes sense. But 201, that can be a big problem as well, because you might think you're going to get an extra $1,000 by doing that, but if you've lost 60% of the eyeballs, you might end up losing money on that.
Exactly.
Now you're 60 days on market before you've corrected, and everybody thinks, what's wrong with this house?
Right.
And it was a simple $1,000 pricing mistake.
Exactly.
The other mistake that I believe is that a lot of times people say to me, they say, well, I want to make sure I have a cushion because everybody comes in low.
Everybody's going to give me a low offer, so I got to build that in.
I want you to handle that objection.
That is absolutely untrue, right?
Yes.
So
unless you're too high, people are going to bring you a low offer if you start too high.
Right. So guys, these buyers are not uneducated. They see what's on the market. They see what are getting sold.
They're the most educated buyers in history.
Exactly.
I mean, everyone is the most educated about any subject ever. It's the information age for a reason.
It's an information overload for them on price and everything.
And so for my sellers, what I tell them is that the best chance of the highest yielding net is also coupled with a very fast sale. Now, what that means is that if you are overpriced, you are going to be sitting on market. If you are going to be sitting on market, buyers are aware of that. Why? Because they missed out on 3 properties last week because they weren't able to go see them quickly enough.
Right.
So
that's the type of market right now.
Exactly.
And it's crazy right
exactly.
now. I mean, everything. I know for you guys, isn't all your listings like
I have buyers that are literally
if they're priced right.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they're
I have
priced right.
buyers that are sitting there literally right now. I could give you 5 buyers that are simply waiting for houses to pop up in their criteria.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if they see a house that's on the market longer than a week or even 2 weeks, they're saying, what's wrong with this house?
Especially at the 60-day mark or something. In this market, it's like all you're thinking is what's wrong.
So the cushion is actually it's an older way of doing things, okay? It's just an older mindset for someone that sold a home maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years
Where you're
ago.
expecting 60 days on market, where you're expecting you'd be lucky to get one offer in the first 60-day period.
So when you price it correctly, based off of what the comps, meaning the comparables, are telling us, it generates multiple offers. And guys, there is no
you're in that market,
exactly,
right?
And
right now we're in that market,
exactly.
So it just depends.
Yeah, that's today's climate.
That's today's climate. But even you have to be more considerate of that when things aren't in that kind of climate, right? Because if you're overpriced and the market's bad, well,
and we don't have to look back all that far to see those differences, right?
Yes.
2007, we were crazy market. 2009, we were in
bad market,
terrible market, and we're back to crazy market again.
Yes.
So
all right, let's move right along. Let's move to step number 4. What is that?
Step number 4 is marketing, and that's our specialty.
Yes,
so
and
we're excited to talk about this one.
Establish a marketing plan. So regardless of who you use, you need to see what are you going to do.
If you're interviewing people,
yes.
the most important question you can ask is what is your marketing plan?
Marketing strategy? Correct.
Exactly. And so talk about ours. What do we do?
Okay, so first off, we spend more on marketing per month than any other brokerage in this area, to my knowledge. Okay,
Yes.
last time we looked at this, it was
Hands down. It's not
Okay.
even like close.
Right, exactly. So there's a few things that we need to do, and we need to do them very well. Okay, Zillow, it's the #1 consumer-based real estate search engine. All right, there's a few things that you need to watch out for on Zillow. #1 is views. #2 is saves, and #3 is ranking in an area. It's very, very important, okay? So what we do is we do supplemental Facebook marketing, guys. Social media is absolutely phenomenal.
All of our marketing is very, very high tech too. And I find that our industry is a bit antiquated.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh
there's
my
a lot
gosh.
of there's a lot of our competitors out there that really have not embraced the information age.
Well, the proof is in, we have over and over, how many times have someone come to you after they've listed their home with somebody else, you listed at the exact same price,
Exactly.
and boom, we get an
Yeah.
offer.
No, it's
so
true.
that's
It's true.
the
And when I
proof
come behind
of the
somebody
marketing.
else, I typically
We
say,
love that.
let's
That's our
start at
favorite.
the price you left off at.
Yeah,
so that
exactly.
you know
It's
how
not
big
all
of a
about-
difference our marketing
It's not all
makes.
about lowering price, lower price, lower price. It's not all about that. And so to continue on in the social media, we actually get 65 to 70% of our clientele from social media. Okay, Facebook specifically, and the reason is because a buyer doesn't have to be a buyer to be on Facebook, right?
Right.
They're just on their newsfeed, checking their newsfeed,
Yes.
and boom, here's their house. How do we know that? Because we monitor and watch our ROI, and we want to know how these people find out about us, right? So then basically we'll supplement the Zillow marketing with our Facebook boost. I actually reached a new record with a listing that I just did. It actually had 1,000 views in the first 2 days on market. 1,000 views.
That's crazy.
1,000.
And let's talk about our luxury advertising, like some of the
Sure.
different things that we do on Rob Report.
Yeah,
and
I think
New
it's
York Times.
It's really important to know if you're a luxury client that your target demographic might not currently live here in Hampton Roads. You know, I think in the more median price points that it's normal to think that it's likely that your buyer lives here, but you could have international clientele.
Right.
You could have clientele who's going to buy a $2 million waterfront property here in Hampton Roads that lives in New York that thinks that that's cheap.
And they're only
you know?
here for a
Well,
weekend.
and
So
just
we need
so you
to-
know, putting your home onto the Wall Street Journal, putting it onto
New York
the
Times,
New York Times,
Rob Report,
the Rob Report,
international websites.
Yeah, all these things is extremely, extremely expensive. And we
Yes.
take care of that for you. And at other brokerages, the individual agent is responsible for all of those costs. And so because of that, they can sometimes be cheap and not want to spend the money on it.
And what we were just talking about, agents are more and more going to try to take advantage of this hot market
Yes,
by
not-
reducing the amount of marketing that they're going to do.
Yes.
Hey, I'm having success 2 out of 3 times when I just slap it on the MLS and spend $0. So
And let's
Right.
talk
I'm gonna
about
keep
our
doing that.
Let's talk about our virtual video tours and the photography that we do.
Sure.
And the aerial shots for our luxury homes.
yeah, so
Very, very, very important. So photographs are the #1 thing to market a home well. So it doesn't matter how good your marketing is if what you're marketing is it does not showcase
your
the property.
presence is online. I mean, you are marketing it
I have
99%
literally
online.
I have literally seen multiple. It's astounding how many luxury properties.
Oh,
We're talking about $1 million and
I
up.
wish we could just like pull up a computer right
Yeah,
now
we
and,
need like
and
a-
like unfortunately we'd be putting some agents on blast, but
Exactly.
we could show you
Exactly.
how horrible some
$2 million
pictures are.
properties, $3 million properties taken with a cell phone with cats
Right.
in the
Yes.
shot. Like
Yes.
that.
People in the
While
shots.
moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you couldn't even stop in the room to take the picture. You did it on the run.
Or
Yeah,
like
exactly.
cars in the driveway.
Exactly. And honestly,
You
it
took it at
actually-
9 p.m. at night with no lights on.
Yeah, and actually it upsets me when I see those things because they're not giving the home and the client the respect that they deserve.
All right, we got to move on. Number 5. What is it?
To list. We got to get that thing live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done all the homework now. We've got you to the place where it's time to get it on the market.
Exactly.
And as soon as we do, I mean, the thing is that the amount of people, when you put it on the MLS and put it through our marketing plan and actually go live is awesome.
Wow,
All right,
price.
negotiating offers. Number 6. Let's talk about that.
So-
how important that is.
Negotiating offers is critical. I mean, especially in this type of market, I think negotiating skills get more and more important in this market because you are more likely to have more than one offer at one time. And that is a very, very delicate dance that a professional should handle.
Exactly.
Is how to manage those people to keep them happy while escalating the price and shaving away at those bad terms
Well,
that are in the contract.
we just had a scenario where if our agent wasn't so good at negotiating, that the deal would have gone south because the other agent just rejected the offer. Like they just said rejected the. I mean, like, are you silly?
Yeah.
Like you never reject an offer. You just
always
go back
counter.
and
Exactly.
counter with something. And because our agent was so fantastic, they held the deal together despite the fact that the other one just was like rejected.
Right,
You know?
guys. Because look, this is a very good point to say this. Is that a lot of what John and I do is we actually, I mean, no disrespect by saying this, but we manage the other side. Okay, what I mean by that is we manage the other
give the
agents.
other agent their sales pitch to their client more than half the time.
Right, exactly.
You know, they're looking to me
for
to
guidance.
feed them the info that they can go back to their client
Exactly.
to ultimately get my way.
A line that I absolutely hate is I'm just trying to facilitate my client's wishes. Meaning they have nothing to back up their client's wishes. They're literally looking to the client to do all the negotiating. You have to have someone that understands market, that understands these terms, understanding what's in front of them, and fight for their client.
Well, let's talk about some pitfalls since we're in the negotiating offers realm of things that are like people need to really understand, like some dangers of doing things like an early possession agreement. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, I can just do this myself for sale by owner. And then they get themselves into these crazy scenarios where the person says, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to close for this amount of time. I want to do early possession. John, what would you say about that?
Early possession, I mean, it has its place. I'm not going to say that it's never appropriate because sometimes it's needed, but there are certainly some pitfalls. There are certainly some pitfalls. I mean, obvious one is you want to buy a house and the seller wants you to close, but they want to continue to live in the house for a while because they need to get their money from the sale of the close and then apply that towards their new purchase. And there's like a 5-day period there where they would be homeless if we don't do the seller possession agreement, right? And so, of course, that benefits the seller. But let's just imagine a scenario where that home closes. You now own it. The seller still lives there. And then their house falls apart for some reason. Are they going to move out in the 5 days when they have nowhere to go? And you've got your U-Haul full and, you know,
So the question that you have to ask yourself, whether it's a buyer's possession or a seller's possession, is do you want to be a landlord? Because that's exactly what you're going to be. They have tenant rights. Absolutely.
It'll take 30.
You have to take 30 days to get
It'll
them
take
out.
30 days to get them out.
Minimum.
And that's if you start the process correctly right away.
No, because they're going to give them 30. Realistically, it's more like a 60-day process.
Right.
I think 60 is more conservative.
There's deposits involved. There's daily rentals amount involved. And I agree with John. There's a place for it. It's just a matter of understanding exactly what you're agreeing to.
And quite honestly, I'm going to be advocating for a possession agreement when it's to my client's advantage. And I'm going to be pushing back when it's not to my client's advantage. So there's a place for it when it's my client's the benefit.
And then lastly, I'd like to say, as far as the negotiating portion of this, is that it's not just about purchase price. It goes so far beyond that. John, you mentioned about terms. Terms are everything.
Yeah, price.
Ooh, things like the 1% cap.
Yes, exactly.
Let's talk about that for just a second. Inexperienced agents really forget things like that.
The 1% cap is the most confusing thing to the general public in the contract.
So talk about it for just a second.
So the 1% cap basically is saying for lender required repairs that the seller is upfront at the time you agree to the contract, agreeing to pay 1% of the sales price to fix lender required repairs. But what people have,
but it's not just lender required repairs. There's more.
It's moisture,
than that.
Termite required repairs. It is
that
appraisal required.
Appraisal
repairs.
and termite and moisture are lender required repairs, and then you have well and septic, which most of the time is actually a lender required repair.
That's true. Yeah.
Depending on I won't get too complicated with that.
Yeah.
And then the walkthrough inspection, which typically is not a lender required repair.
Right. But it could be the refrigerator went south.
Yeah, but that's something that's majorly different than the day you agreed to buy it.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you have let's say you're talking about a $600,000 house, a 1% cap if you didn't
Let's do the math for them.
Yeah, $6,000 that
$6,000.
the seller didn't know they had to pay, and then at the last minute they go, oh, by the way, that's
you need
an
a new
additional
roof. Yeah, I've had an appraisal required repair. New roof, off with the old, on with the new.
Absolutely. I have had that too.
But yeah, in addition, yes, there's the cap, there's the strength of the buyer, like who's their lender.
Who's their lender?
Is it a strong local lender, or did they pull like some Quicken loans off the internet? All that stuff. Are they calling the LO?
Contingent on their home sale.
Contingent
and then,
offers.
If you accept a contingency on another home sale and you don't do the due diligence on
exactly,
is that home going to sell? Are they listed?
Okay,
You're right.
So
exactly.
For one of my sellers that gets a contingent offer on their home, of course, talking to them about the home that's going to be listed, or if it's already listed, I'm doing a CMA on that specific house that they have listed. All those types.
I want to know
things.
if they've agreed ahead of time to a reduction schedule. I mean, there's a lot that goes
all right,
into it.
I'm going to stop you right there because we just keep on going. We could
do
this
this
all day.
at least 5 hours
These guys
straight.
are a wealth of knowledge, and let's go ahead and move to number 7. So the last one is closing the deal, and what I want to specifically talk about here is I want you guys to talk about just like kind of like seller prepaid utilities and taxes, talking about different closing dates, like when you should close, where you would get the most amount of money. Just some really good tips on, hey, you're almost coming up to closing. On that, what are the tips you have?
And so some things that's difficult to negotiate about a contract is that the buyer and the seller have different, actually polar opposite goals on when to close typically. So
talk about that.
The buyer typically wants to close at the end of the month, but that's only if they're paying their own closing costs. So it gets a little bit complicated. In this market, oftentimes the buyer is able to negotiate where the seller is paying their closing costs, and then it doesn't matter so much. Then you want to close at the beginning of the following month, because then you can defer your mortgage payment a whole nother month out in advance. And so it's so contextual.
They get that section twisted, and that's why you need a great agent to say.
Everybody just thinks end of the month
Yes.
without taking all those other things into consideration.
And furthermore, as far as closing the deal, guys, this is where having a really strong agent really counts, is in the 9th hour. I mean, John, you know as well as I do that in the 9th hour, there's something that just comes completely across left field.
And it's like the walkthrough, and it's literally 1 hour before closing. You take your buyer over to the house to make sure it's the same. I had one recently where we went over there, hot water heater is leaking. Garage has a giant puddle on the floor. We're supposed to go to closing in 15 minutes.
What do we do?
Hot water heater is leaking all over the garage.
Right. What do we do?
An inexperienced agent,
they're going to fall apart.
They don't handle it.
Yeah,
they don't handle it.
They're going to completely fall apart. Or let's say that there's a title defect. Let's say there's a small judgment or something like that just came up last minute.
I had a client recently that they complained about their last agent in a previous deal a number of years ago because they showed up at the walkthrough. There were numerous things wrong, and the agent just said,
"That's it. You got to buy.
You just got to close. What are you going to do at this point?" And there's
that's
lots of things you can do.
And one of the things that we love is we work with a team of attorneys that can really come in.
Once the attorney gets involved, the atmosphere changes completely.
Yes.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the show today. If you want to learn how you can get your home sold faster and for top dollar and get these 7 free tips, go to chantelray.com/7 tips.